Fat Joe responds to Daz Dillinger saying that they made Tupac. This is Fresh Hip Hop Opinion with your guy Oleezeh. Don't forget to subscribe. So, unless you've been living under a rock, Daz from the Dog Pound, he went viral as he was defending that him, Corrupt, Snoop, Dre, everybody in Death Row was not jealous of Tupac. Because that's what a lot of people be saying these days, man, when they're doing all these interviews. Yeah, but Daz, yep, he was upset with this and took to the internet to respond. And he said that all those people I just mentioned made Tupac. Tupac, who already had multiple albums, big movie star, had a #1 album in 1995 before he even went to Death Row, Me Against the World album. Daz has said that they made Tupac.
I got a problem with this. You know, people are always saying that Snoop, Dr. Dre, us, everybody, we was jealous of Tupac. How can we be jealous of Tupac and we made Tupac? You know what I'm saying? We put that album together. We came over there. We gave him music. We did that. We wanted him to be the man of the man. You know what I mean? So how was we jealous putting his album together? You know what I'm saying? Taking songs from us and giving it to him. How is that jealousy? The only jealousy there was Suge Knight in his ear and everybody's ear causing confusion. Look at that motherfucker now. You know what I mean? All on this little podcast, always talking shit. All that noise. The Dog Pound, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, none of us. We was never jealous of Tupac. Because we can go in the streets and hang out and do whatever the we want to do. He was limited for what he had to do. And we was the one that was producing and creating a masterpiece. All eyes on me. So who's jealous? I think Suge Knight was jealous. Yeah.
Now obviously the whole internet has been reacting to these comments. It went super viral, people. Fat Joe is one of the latest ones to respond. And here is what Big Joey Crack said. Check it out.
Daz from the Dog Pound, super producer, super artist, talking about, I seen Daz from the Dog Pound talking about, you know, we made Tupac, we this and this and that, right? That's how I took it, right? And so now, I start backing up. You know, when Death Row grabbed Tupac, he was already the most popular guy. He was a super duper star. And one night, the night I was there, when you hear the record Biggie and Tupac, I got Mac 11s and all my in the pen. Here we go again. Ain't nothing separating me from a Mac 10. I'm standing right next to them. I'm on stage with them. It was at a Big Daddy Kane show in Madison Square Garden. So Biggie and Tupac pulled me because I was in the crowd like a fan. They pulled me out. I only had FloJo, yo, come with us. I came with them. The point I'm trying to make prior to that is when Tupac walks into the arena, he walked in from like where you buy a hot dog and you walk in, and the crowd is going crazy. Big Daddy Kane's the biggest rapper on earth. He's on stage, but the crowd is like, this right after Juice. There's no way Tupac wasn't lit before he went to Death Row. He was super the most talked about guy in the world. Now, I do understand when he says, how can I be jealous of him if I gave him hits? Very important. I've given artists hits, and people tell me, yo, how you give them hits? And I'm like, it's my brother. I love them. I love the artist. So it's very unselfish to work with an artist and give him hits. And he gave Tupac hits or produced the beats. I don't know the creative process, but I do understand. I do not believe Daz was jealous of Tupac Shakur or Snoop Dogg or none of them. And let's be happy that they got so much history together and it's so amazing. But I had to address that because we you know, this is what we doing. This is what we doing. In the Fat Joe show is transparency. It's putting your word into what you think or whatever the case. Listen, My opinion is subjective. You don't have to agree with me. But I just give you a little opinion with all due respect. You know, Daz is a legend. I do believe he was not jealous of Tupac. And I know because I work with artists giving them music, and you cannot be a jealous person trying to help somebody make a hit. Very important. You have to walk in your truth, live in your truth. Listen, the biggest crime on earth is to lie to yourself. To convince yourself that you're something you're not. To think that you're like noble or higher. You know, I seen a funny shit, this Dominican dude, right? It's a meme out there, and he's talking about, yo, in New York, we all celebrities, we all lit. That's some New York shit, where every person in New York think they're lit. They think they somebody. You know, I've went to clubs having the #1 song in the world, looking at a dude with 2 quarters across from me, looking at me like he's somebody, right? So everybody in New York think they got followers. The guy says, I got followers of this. He said, my man was dissing Bad Bunny like Bad Bunny. And they was like, yo, bro, we at the Bad Bunny concert. Hey, yo, that's the mentality in New York. But in the whole world, you have to live in your truth. If you lie to yourself, it is a crime. Don't let your ego get in the way of your blessings.
Yeah, buddy. You know what? I must give it to Fat Joe. He's explaining himself well. He does embellish a lot. Let's keep it funky, people. Look how he said all that. Tupac and Biggie were on stage performing that classic song that we've heard over the years. The only song that they're on together anyway. And then they look at Fat Joe in the crowd and pull him out and say, yo, get on the stage, Joe. You gotta come on here because you're important. Because you've only had one song, the Flo Joe song. Come on, Fat Joe. Come on. He's one of these guys that is always at the spot that something happens just coincidentally. Nobody else sees this. Nobody else can corroborate ever any of his stories. But I digress, people. But Fat Joe, I like how he explained his Daz thing because, of course, Tupac wasn't made by Death Row because Tupac was on like his 5th album by the time he comes to Death Row. And like I said, he was #1 in 1995 with the Me Against the World album. Mad hits on there, Dear Mama. He had hits even before that, man. But to be fair, to flip the coin, Daz wasn't saying that, I don't believe anyway, that they made Tupac like his whole career. I think he means that they all participated in making that album such an iconic and classic album. And that album made Tupac, put him on a different level. They put Death Row on a different level. They put Tupac on a different level. But Daz can't say that Death Row put Tupac on another level. Because if it wasn't for Tupac's legacy, people wouldn't even know about Death Row like that worldwide. Tupac was the iconic, probably the biggest person ever to bless hip-hop. And anything he was attached to has been elevated. That's why a lot of people are even having careers now. They're just doing interviews about Tupac every week. Well, it seems like every week. That's what's keeping their pockets fat and their legacy alive. If you knew Tupac even for 1 minute of his life, you got an interview ready on one platform. But yeah, I don't know about Fat Joe's point about giving people hit records. You can't be a selfish person. I see what he's saying. You're not going to be hating on someone if you're giving them actual music to be on their album. I get it, but let's keep it funky. Daz was an employee. You know, if Suge Knight wants you to start working on Tupac's album, Daz ain't going to be like, nah, fam. I'm keeping these for me. Suge will just start grabbing his neck, putting up against the wall like, fam, what did you say? And Daz will be like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm going to do what you said. Sorry, that doesn't sound like Daz. But you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I agree with Fat Joe's comments overall on this. You know, Daz, I don't believe was hating on Tupac. But there's been a lot of people over the years who have said there was some tension with people being jealous of Tupac's shine, which is understandable. They were all young artists trying to get their shine, and one guy just comes to the label and takes all of their shine. So I can see why there might be a bit of resentment. But you know what? Nobody will ever know because nobody will ever really admit it. I do believe Snoop maybe had some jealousy though. If anyone had that jealousy, I would say Snoop, because Snoop was the #1 artist on death row before Tupac came. And literally Tupac came and just pushed him to the side. Anyway, people, I want to know what you lot think about this, what Fat Joe had to say, and even Daz. What did you interpret his comments to be like? Let me know in the comments, y'all. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It's Fresh Hip Hop Opinion. Peace and love.